only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're halfway through another work week. Congratulations. And if you hadn't realized it, you're nearly halfway through yet another month. We're glad you're spending a little time with us today to see what's new in the September release of Student Manager. You see on the screen the most current versions of both Manager and ACEware. Jason's not with us today, and Stein's en route to Kansas right now, and we'll be glad to see him tomorrow. But they asked me to share that there's some exciting things being worked on for the 52 release. Before I turn things over to Matthew, I want to remind you that you can always get the details of each release on our forum. And you get there, like you see on the screen here, you get there from the company drop-down menu on ACEware.com. All the details of any fixes or patches and new features are there, and you can sign up to get notifications anytime a release is made. And if you need help with that, just drop me an email and I'll be glad to help you with that. Remember, while Matthew is showing the new goodies, that you can always type in some comments or questions into the chat box, and Chuck or I can get those to Matthew during the session. So Matthew, you should have control now. I see your screen, and show us what's new this month.
I can certainly do that. Got a few things. A lot of these are kind of just small little tweaks, but I'm going to show them anyway. The first is with the new unlimited UDFs, and if I pull up somebody that has some UDFs or some additional UDFs, what we're doing now is adding an asterisk on the button to show that they've actually got at least one entry in here. So the people that are whacking without, you can easily tell that, hey, this person doesn't have anything yet, so you can just bypass them if you don't, if you're not entering anything, you're just wanting to view some info, you can easily tell if they've got it or not. Okay, next thing is in the invoice routine, and specifically with the email invoices. I'm just going to do the default here. Run them like you normally would. Yes, I want to assign. Okay. And so we're getting into the email routine, and this is normal. Your invoice. Hopefully yours is a little more specific. Hitting done here. I don't really care what my message is. The new box is entering in a blind carbon copy person. So if you want to email the finance officer or something in your institution, you can now blind carbon copy that person. Maybe you want to blind carbon copy yourself, so you've got a record of what those invoices look like. So I'll just go ahead and finish out the routine. .com. Okay, and it's gonna write 8 records. Didn't even have an email address. Okay, and here are the 8 invoices that didn't have emails, so you can jot those down and do whatever you need to do. Maybe send them the paper copy of that. But okay, that's the normal email routine anyways to do that. And I have my little program that is set up to, come here. My little program here that steals emails through here. Actually, I just have Student Manager set to email this. So my from, the to, and somewhere in here is blind carbon copy person, my gibberish of the PDF. Oh, right, because it's a blind carbon copy, the actual person receiving it doesn't actually see that, and so yeah, you won't actually see that in the receiver doesn't actually see the blind carbon copy person. So, but anyway, if I had turned it on to my regular email, I would have gotten my blind carbon copy that I sent. All right, next thing. This one's kind of a big deal. People have been asking for this for a little while, pretty much ever since we redesigned the room use screen. Up here at the top, we used to have military time, and now we've switched it to doing AM PM. So if you switch some of these things around, tab out, notice down here it automatically is setting up AM and PM as well, which this always had AM and PM. It's just up here that didn't have AM and PM. So that should make things a little bit easier for those of you that don't know military time. Shame on you, but hey, make things a little easier.
I personally thank you very much for that, Matthew. I don't have to think about it now.
Okay. I live right next to Fort here in Kansas, so military time is a big thing around here. Got to know that. So fine, let me get to Chuck's record here because he's got a bunch of credentials, and that's the next thing I want to show. So credential code is now a drop-down box for the records that do have drop-downs, and it's both. Why does that say type? Oh, that's because I've got the coding set up to do that on employment. So this one's set to label it as course code. So you've got drop downs now for the code rather than just open entry box. Any previous entries that you've had will get imported into the codes area, but you can also add new codes as you want to put them in. So it should make it a little easier for you to enter some of these things. Also copy. Okay, next thing, receipt. Yeah, I don't have a payment made, so let me get a billing record. Actually, let's just do a check. And I don't want her email. Let me select a different person as the payer that I know has an email address, maybe Chuck. All right, so Chuck is the payer. His email is chuck@aceware.com. So normally when you print a receipt and email it, it's just going to the student. Nowhere is it sending to the person that's actually paying for the record. Until now, I've added a new checkmark box, which it remembered that the last time I tested this that I checkmarked this, so it's now automatically going to remember it from here on. But you can also copy the payer if different than the student. So now if I send this, mail sent, go to my fake email client here that shows me the student's emails. And because this is a carbon copy, we see the carbon copy line in here rather than blind carbon copy. So it is sent to both the student and now the payer. All right, next one. Next one, for those of you cleaning up reports, out of tools reports, delete additional report, view name order. There is a new column in here for active, so it shows you if you've deactivated these reports. Maybe you're wanting to go through, make sure you're only deleting deactive ones, and it looks like all of mine are active. So, but that can give you an indicator as to whether or not these reports are still in use as you clean them up. All right. Email and reminders to instructors. So new tool under tools. Similar to student reminders, this is email instructor reminders. But the student reminders goes off of the flag on the course screen. Instructor reminders go off of begin date, is between. Let's see if I've got, what do I got? Do I have? I'm trying to remember what dates I used to test this with that actually gives the result. 2018 to 12/31/2018. Hopefully I've got something in my demo. Oh, I've got plenty in my demo. So this is showing you real quick what instructors, what courses you want to get reminders to. Maybe you want to deselect the ones that have 0 enrollments and only have actual courses that are running. Obviously, you'd probably do a smaller date range than 3 months for reminders, so that you're just giving out the ones coming up quickly rather than 23 here. But it gives you a chance to deselect, hit done. What's chosen by default, and I want to do 1 email per ID. That way, it's putting all of Cheryl's all of her courses into 1 email when I select 1 email per ID, rather than her getting 5 separate or however many courses she had, 7 or 8 courses. She'd get separate ones if I didn't do that. But yeah, you can now send those. I have it set to do the contract template by default because that's really got all the information for your courses. That I thought that would be a good place to start for a reminder. You can obviously customize that template to do what you want, and save it as a different name or whatever, and then you just select it each time. Or you could have, if you do not have the contract email template, ask your technician for it, and we can get it out of the demo. This is straight out of the demo is this one. So we can get you a copy of this to play around with and modify for what you need. Okay, and saving the best for last here. New thing. Jason's got quite a few courses. Yeah, 8. So what I've been doing is playing around with the courses taken. And now I've got it looking like this, which if you remember, it was just a plain ugly grid. Couldn't really do much. I'm going to maximize this so it takes up the whole width of the screen. Still can double click the course code and it will take me right to that registration. Maybe. Okay, more of a triple click. I don't know why. I think the first click is getting me into that column, and then double click actually fires the routine to actually bring up the registration. But in any case, you still click into there, get your modify or do whatever you need to do on that registration. Notice though the save and close button has now gone away once you click into a course. This allows you to make sure that you're not overwriting changes. Say you're doing a change the grade on the registration screen. Now this isn't going to overwrite that. So if I come back out and go back in, if I do want to change the grade here, I've got a weird F over here. Maybe this is actually an incomplete. I can change that, save and close, come back, and that is there. Another thing with this is you can reorder columns. Maybe you want to see that registration note, clear up near the beginning, because you always have good information in there. You need to have that coming up each time. Actually, save and close or exit without saving. Either way, it's going to save the column order. Maybe come back. So there it is. That registration note is back over here and where you want it each and every time. Do have to maximize each time. I don't have that saved. I don't know if I can get it to save your screen dimensions each time or not, but yeah, we're still kind of working with this. We're going to probably mimic this model and put it in other well, we are going to put it on the student list on the course screen. Probably a few other areas will have similar areas like this, but that's we're still kind of developing along. But this one is pretty close to being how we like it. So now it's time for you guys to give it a chance and tell us what you think of it, and we can adjust it as we go to suit people's needs. Hopefully a lot more better than that funky old grid. So any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions, Matthew. Is that executable available on the customer site now for them to update?
Yeah,
can you pull
I was
that
a
up?
little.
Okay.
I was going to say I was a little late posting it, but I'm trying to get ACEware.
He's going to pull up our website so you can see where you can get this executable so that you can update to the most current version.
So under Customers and Student Manager Resources, the update file. It was dropped a little late last night. Apologize for my tardiness. I had a few things going on that delayed some things, but it is out there. Forum post didn't go out till this morning, so apologize for that being late as well. But hey, it's up. It's ready for you. You can grab it now.
And we appreciate that. You've done, I see, 6 new enhancements, and we appreciate every single one of them. So,
Matthew, I did have a question. Leslie wanted to know on that new name view or the class view on the name record, when a user would be moving columns around, if they wanted left column over to the right and vice versa, that is per user, right? Private per user. That's not a public for everybody in the system.
Right. It is a per user. I guess you'd call it preference because it's the preference of your order of the columns. But yeah, it's user by user. It is not global.
Thank you.
And Matthew, can you bring up ACEware.com again? I want to tell customers that we recently did update our customer password. So wherever you see that little padlock there, if you don't have the most current credentials, username and password for that, let your tech know and they'll be glad to share that with you. So Matthew, if you can turn controls back over to me, I will share a few announcements. Our webinar for this month is on the 20th, and Lindsay will be giving us 20 tips that every ACEweb user should know on September the 20th. And if you haven't signed up for that, watch your email for a reminder. It shows me sharing.
Don't listen to Chuck. We hear you.
Okay.
We see you.
All right. Okay, good. So if you haven't signed up, watch for an email on Monday. If you're not getting those webinar announcements through the listserv, drop me an email and I'll get you added to those announcements. You'll want to watch for that email, not only to sign up for this webinar next Thursday, but there could be a real special update there that you'll want to watch for. I see somebody asking about conference, and that's what you'll want to watch for on Monday. We may have a conference announcement for you so that you can hold those dates there. So anything else for the good of the cause, Chuck or Matthew? All right. We will let all these fine folks get back to work, and we wish you the best weekend that's approaching. And I know all of us are thinking about those that are have this hurricane headed their way. We'll keep them in our thoughts. So have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you soon.